Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Learning Improvement Program. I'm David Brainer and my co-presenter, Madhubabu sir. I request Madhubabu sir to introduce himself.
Namaste, dear teachers. Welcome to this session. Well, in this session, we are going to learn what exactly and how best we can implement language improvement program in our schools. And first, during this program, I hope you enjoyed in the morning session and you have got a brief idea about all the areas. And now coming to our English language, there are certain areas where we have to focus initially, and later on we will see the classroom transaction process and the other components. Now, I would like to ask David Brenner to give and start the session. Please, sir.
Thank you, Madhu sir. Learning Improvement Program, shortened LIP. LIP program has very interesting strategies, methods that are easily, which can be adapted into our teaching. Children needs extra support from teacher. All these days, teachers were teaching. Now let us transform our duties as facilitators. Let us facilitate and help all our children to learn the concepts in the easiest manner. I like to bring to your kind notice that LIP is a very interesting and very important program that is the need of the hour today. Today in this subject-specific session, we shall discuss two important areas, teaching period and practice period. And now let us discuss briefly a few things. Those are learning strategies or activities, English transaction modules, learning outcomes, and prior concepts or skills. And later we will move on to the teaching period and followed by practice period. Though we have not clearly distinguished teaching and practice periods for English subject, English language, still we do have teaching and practice sessions or periods in our day-to-day classroom. We will come to a conclusion towards the end of the session that both teaching and practice happens simultaneously. At the same time, much importance is given to practice periods in our lesson plans. The components of English language teaching are pre-reading, reading, and post-reading. We already know many things about these three. These three components lies behind any language teaching transaction process, because straight away student cannot get what a reading portion means. A paragraph, when he reads alone, he will not understand. But for that, there is a lot of necessity to do groundwork, that is pre-reading. So teachers should work with the help of so much of pictures, audio, visual aids to prepare the boy or girl, students for reading. Later, reading process starts. And reading is very, very important part. We are going to discuss in detail in the coming session. Post-reading session is also very, very important. And that is what we are going to focus today. We have selected class 6 for the demonstration. Unit 5, the lesson name is At the Vegetable Shop. Before we get into any lesson, transaction, we need to know certain concepts. Prior concepts are to be identified. The skills required are to be identified among the students. Whether the student is able to read textual and non-textual material and infer the meanings of unfamiliar words using dictionary. Write answers to textual and non-textual questions using appropriate vocabulary. Is he able to express opinions, ideas, thoughts, and feelings in writing about a given text using grammatically correct sentences? And we should also know whether the student is able to draw out main idea, the sequence of events, main characters and their qualities from the text. Most importantly, they should be able to use synonyms, antonyms appropriately. Finally, but not the least, in this lesson, we come to know about certain usages of language, especially in a colloquial situation, and also in a very formal situation like giving advices, taking a permission. Certain things are to be known to the student. So one should know, we should know whether the student is able to use formal and informal kind of English in different contexts. Next important thing that we are going to look is, these are the learning outcomes. Listening and speaking, from the lesson we have identified a few. These things are taken from ACRT, from the textbook. So these are there already in the textbook. So these are identified learning outcomes: listening, speaking, reading comprehension, vocabulary, grammatical awareness, creative writing. So before we get into lesson, before we transact certain things in the classroom, we should have prior kind of an understanding that the student has these skills or not. And then we should also be very clear with the learning outcomes. And later, this is very important, our new lesson plan has incorporated this one: I do, we do, you do. So this is learning strategy or activities that we use. This is I do. And we know that I do is something that teacher does something in the classroom, because the concept that we're going to introduce, new things that we're going to tell to the students are unknown. So we give direct instruction. We demonstrate. We model. We think aloud. What we think, we say it aloud. So that is I do. It is more like modeling. It's more like giving direct instruction. And we use another strategy, that is we do. In I do, teacher alone is important here, where he does something. In we do part, the teacher helps the student to work. Actually, teaching happens in I do, but in we do, practice starts. With the help of the teacher, the student starts practicing what he has learned. So there is interaction. There will be some checks. The teacher checks whether he's doing correct or not. Teacher prompts him to do certain things, to say certain things. And finally, he gives cues to helps there. When it comes to the last strategy, that is you do. In you do part, in you do, we have student alone working so closely with the work. He has learned so many things when teacher taught, when teacher demonstrated, when teacher thought aloud. And when, with the help of teacher, he did certain works, some exercises, new sentences he has built with the help of teacher. And then in the you do part, the teacher will be a facilitator, that's all. The student starts doing on his own, and teacher gives feedback to the student. Student assumes the full responsibility. In one way or other way, we can tell that this I do, we do, you do model is a model of teaching which is known as gradual release of responsibility model. Teacher gradually releases the responsibility to the student. The student starts doing the work all alone. Initially, teacher completely gives help. Finally, the student alone does the work. And very important thing is in this strategy, in this teaching strategy, it includes in I do demonstration, in we do prompting is happening, and in the final one, that is in you do, practice happens. So student practices. So practicing happens from we do and you do. Just this picture will speak a lot. You can see I do part is very less, and you can see the glow there. You do is very, very big. So student gradually depends on his own, on himself. He works, he learns, he reads, he understands the story or whatever the text is given to him. You can see another picture side there. In the model I do, you watch actually, the student watches. In we do, there is guidance. So altogether they work, teacher and the student. And in the final one, that is you do, that is independent, the student alone starts doing something and the teacher starts watching. So the reversal of you watch and I watch is very interesting in this model. Next, I would like to introduce very interesting thing that which is there already in your handbooks. You can please refer to the handbooks for the details. But briefly, we will discuss English transaction modules. It's modular classroom transaction. So a module is actually a pedagogically construed as a sequence of learning things that lead to construction of language or knowledge. We believe in construction of knowledge. We believe in construction of language. So the students need to construct. Every day they construct. The outcome needs to be embedded in appropriate form of discourse. So language exists in discourses. We believe in that. For example, making an oral presentation of the characters and in their nature, describing the characters. The features of these oral presentations are to be stated first and later they can be written. So always oral comes first and written comes next. That is the essence of this slide. In the modular classroom transaction or here in English transaction modules, we find all these happening one by one in sequence. We're going to beautifully get narrated and described, explained by my co-RP. The first three will be very, very important because it is something related to picture. That is a face sheet we call, or that's a trigger picture that we have in all our textbooks for the lessons in the very beginning. So here are the 6 very important modules here. One is a theme, that is picture-based interaction. Second one, production of an oral discourse based on the organized blackboard writing. Sir will explain it beautifully. And third one is narration. And fourth is reading and writing a discourse, and finally editing. So it comes with a picture. Next is oral kind of a discourse. Third is reading and then writing and finally editing. So here we begin very important session of taking one example from class 6, unit 5 at the vegetable shop. Over to Madhu sir to describe the first 3 modules which are present here in the slide.
Thank you, David. It was really a nice session that you elaborated everything. And I know that all the teachers have got a clear idea about what I do, we do, and you do. And now let us see how we are going to do it. And we will observe some of our classroom interaction process during this classroom transaction process. Now let me share my screen. Okay, right. I hope my screen is visible. That's fine. Thank you. And now we will see how well exactly we can implement this language improvement program through one lesson. And let's look into this classroom transaction process. And first of all, regarding the transaction process, we have allocated various periods to various components that we have in our every unit. So we have allocated and the model has been given and we will supply, we will get it already, the module. And the first one is the major crux of this program, especially when it comes to lit. The first one is pre-reading. It is for picture interaction and we have to take 3 periods. Usually, even in our regular classrooms, I'm sure that this is sometimes neglected or it's not happening as it is for 3 periods because we are doing within 1 period or 2. But if you really do this for 3 periods, and now we will see what kind of results we are going to witness and see from our students. And the second one is reading. We can divide 3 to 4 slots, and that is for each slot 2 periods. And the next vocabulary 2 periods, and grammatical awareness 3 periods, and creative expression 2 periods, and talking time 2 periods, listening 1 period, and reading it yourself 1 period, and study skills 1 period. Totally for each unit, we may get and we have to take around 21 periods. Okay, this is the allocation of the period, and you have to keep this plan in your mind before the transaction process. And the other area, as David was saying, whenever you want to take any kind of lesson or planning, the first thing we have to keep in view is that LOC, that is expected learning outcomes. You can see the picture like, the clearer the target, the better the result, right? So you please focus on the idea clearly, what comes under listening and speaking, then reading comprehension, and in this grammatical awareness, you can find the usage of past continuous tense and the vocabulary area, and children will be able to know the names of vegetables and their uses and benefits. And then when it comes to creative writing, we'll focus on picture-based story and then study skills and pie chart. This is what exactly, these are the various learning outcomes we have to talk about. And the next one, as sir was saying, we have to have a clear idea about the prior concepts is what the child is able to do and capable of doing. Okay. After this, and the very first one in this transaction process, and we know that as sir was saying, it's pre-reading, reading, and post-reading. And now we are going to talk in detail in terms of pre-reading. What kind of sources do we use regularly in this pre-reading? In every lesson, there is a picture, right? And don't limit to just one picture. You can choose any relevant picture for this pre-reading, or you can show a video also, right? Now we will see what is the process. And I'm repeating again and again that during this transaction process, we are going to follow these 3 steps. The first one is I do. It's the whole class activity where the teacher plays important role through interaction. And the second category is, the second step is we do, where children will take active part and we will be giving number of activities to the students and they will follow whatever we have done in the I do activity. And the final one is like the production. Whatever the outcome is that after this video activity, we'll give again some activity like a picture or anything, and then the child will do it individually. So the first I do activity, whatever we called in the morning session, that is the teaching period. And whereas this we do and you do will be considered, and we have to treat it as practice period, right? So now we will see how we are going to do this I do. And in this I do, uh, the first one is picture interaction. You can find some lovely picture there. And what we have to do is try to collect as many pictures as possible, or even you can collect a video or some small story also, or you can give some audio like a story also. So this is first what we have to do. Now we are going to take a picture and see what we are doing in this. And the first one, this is I do, and in the first period. And now let us see what are the objectives of this pre-reading picture interaction. The very first objective is that to sensitize the learners on the theme with the help of a variety question. And the second one is to help the learners describe orally or write a discourse based on the picture. And the third important objective is that help children to acquire vocabulary related to vegetables, and they have to find out certain actions. And the fourth one is to lead the learners to make and predict about the reading text. And finally, they should be in a position to construct a oral or a written discourse. And now, let's look at the process. We have seen the objectives earlier. Now, let us look at the entire process. This is what we call like teacher modeling. And I do, this is a whole class activity. And while picture interaction, what is the process we have to follow? The first step is that display a picture or show a video before the class. And then when it comes to green board work, what we have to do? Draw a margin on the board and ask questions to the students related to the names of the things or people they say in the picture or the actions they do. And now the teacher has to write. I told you that we have to divide our green board into three margins like I do, we do, you do. And under this I do margin, you have to write the words, whatever we are getting from the student, and then some phrases, and then sentences. And now keep on asking questions to elicit the actions and the names of the vegetables, or it may be any picture. And related to the picture, you have to ask certain questions and try to get the response. And I'm mentioning once again clearly, this is the area where we can help all the children, like low proficient learner or anybody can happily enjoy and they will actively participate. So that you please give freedom to the learners to express in mother tongue. And whenever they are expressing in mother tongue, either you megaphone those words in English, or you can ask, no, Ramu, how will you say this? You can ask your students, other students also. And finally, talk about their understanding of the theme that is embedded in the picture and the other various components of the unit. This is what exactly the main process we have to follow during picture interaction in this I do activity. And remember that we have to give chance to all the students to respond in this activity. And now, here the teacher's job is that, as I told you that you have seen the picture that we have displayed. We have a different picture in the reader. Now I have chosen another picture in this to show this. And once you show the picture, the next question is that you have to frame n number of questions for interaction. That is where real language generates. Okay. So the first one is something like that. Whom do you find in the picture? Or you can say, where are they? What's the woman doing? Or what is the man doing? Or how is he helping? What's he doing? Or you can ask, tell the names of the vegetables. Or name some leafy vegetables. Or why should we eat vegetables? And which vegetable do you like? Or which vegetable do you hate? Right? So this is how you have to prepare n number of questions and ask as many questions as possible so that you can interact with each and every student in the class. Right? Now the next one is, after this, we will see how exactly it is happening in our real classroom. So this is the transaction process. Please observe each and every step. After that, we'll have a discussion on it. Everyone. Good morning, sir. How are you today? I'm fine, sir. Very good. Did you eat breakfast? Yes, sir. Okay. What did you eat today? I ate. This is something like we can say initial interaction. Okay. And with idli, what did you eat? I ate chutney. Chutney also good. What did you eat, Pratibha? I ate Maggi. Maggi? Okay, fine. Right. Vedanshi, what did you eat? I ate puri. Puri. With puri, what did you eat? I ate chutney. Chutney. Okay. So, did anybody eat upma today? No. Did anybody eat vada today? No. Yes. Okay, good. Upma. Did you eat upma or with curry? Only upma. Only upma. Okay. Did anybody eat curry today? With breakfast? Yes. Which curry? Potato curry. Potato curry. Good. So, while preparing chicken, we eat food with curry. And how is the curry made? Vegetables. Okay? We prepare curry with vegetables. Now, look at the picture here. Okay? Who do you find in the picture? You. Who do you find in the picture? Who is there? Look at this. Who is that? Oh, man. A man. A man. And who is there? Who is this one? Women. Women. A woman. Okay. So what is the man doing? A man. What is the man doing? Vegetables? Chopping. Good. What is the other word for that? Cutting. Cutting. So now who is cutting the vegetables? A man. A man is cutting the vegetables. Suman, what is the woman doing? The woman was cooking food. Okay. The woman is cooking food. Who cooks food at your home? Who cooks food at your home? Mother. Good. Do you help your mother? Yes. Boys, will anybody help your mother? That boy said yes. This boy said no. But yes. What do you do? Then what do you do? You'll help your mother. Will you give any vegetables to her? Or will you wash? Or will you cut? What will you do? Cut the vegetables. You'll cut the vegetables. Okay? Now, look at this picture once again. The man is cutting the vegetables and helping his wife. Okay? So what is the woman doing? Can you guess what she's cooking? Okay, so this is how exactly a classroom transaction process we have followed during this picture interaction. And now the another area is that French. Okay, what is she cooking? Pasta. Okay. Any guess? She's not cooking pasta. She's cooking potato curry, maybe. And next, okay, that's it. Okay. Now, so there are so many vegetables there. Okay. Can you name some of the vegetables you find there? Capsicum, tomato, what is that? Chilies are there. Garlic, cucumber, very good. Okay, now I'll show you some more vegetables. Okay? Okay. So you have seen in this first picture interaction what happened exactly. And you might have observed how my student, I took the help of my student. Even the teacher can do, but for the convenience, I have asked my student to do. And another key area is that while interacting with the students, we have to elicit the keyword, phrases, and similar sentences. And at the same time, we can create the subtext also, right? And now, if you look at the picture in the previous video, the children were saying some of the vegetables, and then like a tomato, a brinjal, right? And then some sentences like I like carrot, but I hate brinjal. And then we started saying like, women is cutting. The man is cutting, women is cooking, like that, their wife and husband. And all this, we can prepare the sentences and write on the green board. And now observe what we have done during this process. Okay, now here are some more vegetables there. Okay, you can see lot of vegetables there. And what are the vegetables you find there? Tomato. Okay, sit down. Next. Carrot. Right there. And next. Brinjal. Good. And next here. Chili. Broccoli. Right? And you have seen lot of vegetables. And which vegetable do you like? Cat. So you can say, which vegetable do you like? Capsicum. And which vegetable do you like? Tell full sentence. I like brinjal. I like brinjal. And which vegetable do you hate in this picture? Brinjal. I hate brinjal. I hate brinjal. Okay? Right. Very good. So now, what we'll do is, everybody write these words and sentences in your book. Are you ready? I think you are writing. Now, who will come and read? Yes, you come. Read the first words. Don't make noise, I'll ask you. Okay, first one. Tomato. And next? Carrot.
Brinjal.
Okay, good. Next, who is coming?
Sir.
You come. One girl come. What do you find here? I hate brinjal. You go. If you hate, you go. And next, Asya, come here. And next, Kati, go. And next, Kusma, come here. Now you read these sentences.
I like capsicum.
Oh, good. Right, go. And next, you come over. What's your name? Hello. Yes. I like Ranger. And next? Okay, say from there on. Last one. What is the women doing? The woman is cooking. A man is studying. Okay, good. Right? Now, so this is how we help our children to come and read some of the words, phrases, and sentences. And now you can see, call the students, some of the students as we have done in the picture, and let them read each and every word or the phrases and sentences. And while writing, you can rearrange the sentences if necessary. And finally, the teacher reads the description aloud with proper voice modulation. Once you have completed all these things, ask the learners to copy the description into their notebooks. And this will be the first description, like whole class description, and that every student will write. And now let us see how the teacher is helping to read and reading aloud by the teacher. Now, read after me. Look at the board and read after me. I like capsicum. I like capsicum. I like brinjal. I like brinjal. If you look at here. A man is cutting. A man is cutting. The woman is cooking. The woman is cooking. Chilies. Chilies. Cucumber. Cucumber. And tomato. Tomato. Okay, fine. Read now. Okay, this is how we help the student, and this is exactly what we have done in this I do, the pre-reading activity. The first one is in this interaction process, we allow the children to respond and they come up with their perception of the picture and their understanding of the theme and their expectation about what they are going to read. And if you have observed the process clearly, we have collected various pictures, very interesting pictures, and we have shown and interacted with the students, and children were coming with a lot of different kinds of responses. And the third important area is that generating the subtext. Okay, whatever the responses we are getting related during the interaction process, we wrote on the green board, and then by negotiating with the children, we can rearrange the sentences. And once the subtext is prepared, we ask the children to write. And this is exactly what we do in this I do part, where the teacher has taken a lot of role. And in the next session, we will see how the practice period, so-called practice period, we call like video activity. Okay. All right. Now we have a small break for this doubt session. We are happy to clarify your doubts. Or otherwise, shall we wait and continue the next session?
Let's see how to frame WH questions.
Any questions, please? Up to now, we have completed the I do activity. Okay. So if not now, you will get the chance at the end of the session. And now we will see the second important part, like we do. Well, whatever we have done in the I do is all the teacher's role, and that comes under teaching period. And now in this we do and you do, the major, like part will be from our students, and we are giving ample opportunities to the students. So we are giving practice to the students by giving various tasks. And now let us see how well we are going to do this video activity. Okay. So this is the picture interaction for description. Now let us see what is the process we have to follow. Okay. So, yeah, please wait a moment. All right. So in the video, the first thing, let us see what is the process we have to follow. And our major objective is that the children should be in a position to produce another description in groups. Okay, totally by the end of this picture interaction, we are expecting that the children should have 4 or 5 descriptions with them. So the first description is over in I do activity. And now with the we do, what we are going to do, let us see. Ask the students to sit in groups and do pictures. Here we can do one thing. If it's a digital classroom, try to show various pictures to each group, or collect different pictures suitable to the level of their, level, and then give. And later on, ask the children to observe the picture carefully. And the third important area is, after formation of groups, see that ask one student to be the leader and tell the leader to ask questions to all their groups. Okay. Now, the next important part of the teacher, and we are talking, the teacher is a facilitator, right? So here, while the groups are working, move around the class and go to each group and help the students to frame questions and try to get various responses. While writing and while observing the picture, ask other groups to, write the words or phrases, similar sentences, as we have done in the first part. And now the teacher or the children, and we told you that to write 3 margins. So now the children have to write all the sentences under this video margin. Okay. So once the children have written, and children will give presentations. Okay. So while children are giving presentations, the teacher has to give feedback, and after that, ask the students to write those sentences in their notebooks. This is what the entire process we follow. And in this group, you will get one more description. So this is what we call like second description. And let us see what we have to do first. Try to collect different pictures, as I told you. And here we have totally 4 pictures. And the right side, if you see the 2 pictures, they are about vegetables. And if you look at the women and the child and all, there is a lot of scope for children to interact. So this, it's your decision to whom to give these pictures. But the thing is that you have to choose different pictures. Now let us see how we have done in the classroom transaction process, as we have observed in how we have done during the process. Please observe. Now I'm going to give you a small task. Are you ready? Yes, sir. What you have to do is, I'll give you pictures. Look at the picture, and one of you will be acting as leader, and the leader will be asking questions to all. Okay? Are you ready? Yes, sir. And the first group, this is the picture. Who will be the leader? Okay. Yes. Give all the seats to your group. Now, this is for your group. Right. And this is for your group. And now, this is for your group, Suman. Okay. And this is for your group. Okay, now start. Look at the picture and write, ask questions to your friend. Okay? Right. Are you ready now? Yes. Well, this is how start doing. We are going to assign the task, and later on we will see the next part is that we have to support the students during their preparation. And while they are working in groups, a lot of support is required to our students. And now let us see how we are going to give that support. And now you ask some questions to your friends.
What do you find in this picture? There's some vegetables.
Okay. There is some vegetables or there are some vegetables?
There are some vegetables.
Okay.
Which vegetables do you like? Which vegetable? Carrot.
She's asking, she's saying.
What?
Okay, good. In the ask questions and write that, okay? Right. Now, Pratibha, what's your picture? Okay, now ask questions to your friends.
What do you ask in this picture?
A mother and her children, right? Or a mother and her daughter. A mother and her daughter. Okay. Did you write that? Who is writing? Okay. Right. You ask another question. What? Very good. What is the children or what is the child doing? What is the child doing?
What do you find is what was the kids doing? If there is only
Very good. The child is mixing the vegetables.
what is
Why?
why?
Maybe what are they doing? You can ask what is she preparing? Okay. Okay, good. Very good. Now, what's your group doing? What show me your picture? Now ask questions to your friends.
See this picture and see what the woman is doing. What do you observe?
Who do you find in the picture? That is the first question. That will be right. A mother and a daughter. Right there? Right there? A mother and a daughter. And next answer.
What is this girl doing? This girl is seeing her English. What else you can observe in the picture?
Okay, like that, that's fine. You ask questions and they will write. And now, who is preparing questions here? Who is asking questions? Did you ask any questions to your friend? What are the questions? Did you observe the picture? Like that. And what are the vegetables you can ask like that? Are they talking? Like that. Huh?
What do you like in vegetables? I like carrot. What doing with beans?
What are the bees doing? Okay? What are the bees doing? Then, laughing. Good.
What is the spinach doing? Spinach was carrot.
Oh, spinach was sad. Good, very good. Now, Suman, is your group ready? Did you ask questions to your friend? What question did you ask?
What is vegetables are there in the picture?
Oh, how many vegetables are there in the picture? Do you count what? There are? Here only. Okay. Are you writing? Are you writing the answer? Whatever your friends are saying, you have to write in that. Okay? Right. Suman, ask questions to all of your friends. Which is your favorite vegetable. Okay? Okay, good. Okay. This is how we have to help the students. You have to move around the class and help every group. This is very important. And you can see in this video activity how children are taking part actively. The leader is asking, whereas every child has chance to express their opinion. That is very important, you can observe. And now, after once the children have prepared, and the next part is that the children have to come and present in their groups. This is what we have to do. Let's watch one presentation, and after that we can see, right? Well, I hope everybody has completed your work, right? Yes, sir. Then, which group is going to do presentation first? Okay, stand up. Right. Pratibha, you ask questions to your friends and then unfold your hand. Be normal. Okay, right.
Ishita, what do you find in the picture? When are they? Okay. And who are they?
Mother and daughter. Okay.
What do you find in the picture? Okay.
Tomato.
Tomato.
Okay. And next?
And next, what is mother doing? She is so happy.
She's so happy. Good. She's so happy. Good. And next?
And next, what is the child is doing? She is mixing the vegetables. Okay. And
What are they doing today? Why is the daughter doing all the things?
why is the daughter doing all these things?
Are they preparing anything?
What is preparing? She is preparing curry.
Maybe vegetable curry. Or what else you prepare with all the vegetables? Like salad. Yes, good salad. This girl is curry. Okay? Good. Well then, your big hand out of the class. Let's do it. Okay, good. This is what you can find in the video activity. We have written the subject in that video column. And now, if you focus clearly the process, what we have done, we have asked the students to sit in groups and give pictures. And then the children observed the picture and they interacted, and the teacher has moved around the class. And the students wrote the words under the video margin. And finally, the teacher has to give feedback. And like one child was asking, what is the child is doing like that. You can ask, are there any words missing or are there any extra words like that? You edit some areas and then you give feedback and finally ask them to write in their notebooks. This is what we call like, now the second presentation is ready. Okay. So the next step is I do we have completed, we do we have completed, and this is what the you do. Once you have completed it, this is all we are doing in the we do activity. It's second period. And the end of the second period, try to give the task and what we call like practice period. And you have to give this individual task soon after the second day. And each ask each student to select a picture from the textbook or from the other sources, and then let them write the picture description individually. So here is the picture we have given to some of the students. And now let us see how the children are doing. Now let's exactly know the process exactly. And after that, we will see one of our student presentations. Display the picture and ask them to write description individually. And once they have written, and this is the third period where, like children go and do that home task at home, and then they will come. Or if that is not done, even you can do that in the third period goal in our class. If few students present their description, then the teacher has to give feedback on the work done by the learners. They refine the work based on the feedback given by the teacher and the suggestion given by their group members. And by the end of this, you will have totally almost 4 to 5 descriptions, because the first description in the whole class and the second one produced in group, the third one which they have written individually, and the fourth one is a refined version. And sometimes the fifth one should be the teacher's version. Okay. So this is how we have to do the entire process. And let us observe one presentation by the individual under this you do activity.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paleti Kushma. I'm from 6th A. This is my picture. I wrote this sentence. I like to eat carrot. Brinjal is queen of the vegetables. My favorite fruit is watermelon. The funny fruit is pear. In this picture, some fruits and vegetables are there. Sweet corn is running in the picture. Orange is doing exercise. Apple is cute fruit. Carrot is good to our eyes. In watermelon, it stores water.
Good. Okay. This is how many children have come up with a lot of productions.